More than half of managers say they didn't receive any management training at all, according to Forbes. The lack of training could lead to difficulty articulating clear expectations or to a lack of awareness of how their expectations are received and whether they're even realistic. Does your manager have unrealistic expectations for you? Managing up is challenging. You have to balance understanding and fulfilling your boss's needs while maintaining your own integrity, sanity, and career progression. I'm Suzanne Alnagar, executive coach and founder of Vantage Shift. I empower leaders to transform from reactive to strategic, lead with confidence and clarity, and amplify their impact. Drawing from years of leadership experience across companies ranging from startups to multi billion-dollar corporations, and my experience coaching leaders at all levels, I deliver insights that address the real challenges facing corporate leaders today: the constantly changing business landscape, crushing expectations to do more with less, and a challenging environment for career transitions and advancement. In this video, I will help you understand your boss's perspective and share strategies and tips for you to successfully manage their expectations. First, let's take a moment to understand your manager's perspective. The likelihood that they received any management training is low. More than half of managers say they didn't receive any management training at all, according to Forbes. The lack of training could lead to difficulty articulating clear expectations or to a lack of awareness of how their expectations are received and whether they're even realistic. Your manager also has to manage up and may be struggling with outside expectations and pressure themselves. Many people in that situation will pass on the pressure rather than try to alleviate it. That's not ideal, but it's sometimes the reality. Given the pressure that they're experiencing, what does your manager need from you? Well, put simply, leaders want visibility, solutions, and most importantly, results. What does this mean for how you work? It means that you need to keep them informed. This doesn't mean sharing every detail of you and your team's work. It does mean, however, that you strategically share key information. Ask yourself what questions your boss is likely to be asked by their management and proactively answer those questions. Provide options for forward progress. When you encounter difficulties, rather than telling your boss that you have a problem and waiting for direction, share your ideas for potential solutions. You'll showcase your capabilities and you demonstrate that you've thought through the possible scenarios and have determined the best courses of action. Finally, focus on desired outcomes. Your manager likely has some of their compensation tied to the performance of their area. They're also trying to manage up amidst the outside's expectations and pressures. Partner with them to ensure that you're on the same page regarding the results they want. Now let's look at some strategies for setting clear expectations. Part of managing up is ensuring expectations are clear. How can you accomplish this? Well, here are a few strategies that you can employ. Communicate proactively. Schedule regular check ins and ask your manager clarifying questions such as, what does success look like for you this quarter or this year? Or how will you measure my performance? Also, ask questions that surface the why behind the direction that you're given. Make sure to document and share what's agreed. Work on building trust. Provide regular updates on progress and wins. Share challenges, keeping in mind the idea that you're not just presenting the problem, but you're describing the situation and recommending solutions. Anticipate your manager's questions, especially regarding concerns that your boss might have to address in their own meetings, and provide information and answers proactively. Acknowledge and help your boss manage shifting priorities. There are a lot of reasons why priorities change in an organization. There might be new top leadership. Maybe their company is trying to address new market needs or entering a new market, or perhaps the needs of customers are changing. In my Vantage Shift Insights post, Leading Through Mud, I wrote about how important it is for a leader to know when to forge ahead and when to find another path. When priorities shift, it will be essential for you to be able to use both of those strategies and to ensure that you and your team aren't just stuck waiting for direction. Discuss with your manager how changes affect your team and what you plan to do to address the changes. Be willing and prepared to renegotiate you and your team's priorities. Even when you think you're communicating clearly and proactively providing key information, adjusting to the corporate shifts, and prioritizing what your manager needs, conflicts can still arise. You're going to have to navigate difficult conversations. What happens when expectations are still unclear or unrealistic? Your manager may be making assumptions about your or your team's capabilities, or you may be making assumptions about what your boss is going through. Making assumptions isn't always bad. As I wrote in my Lessons in Leadership from Maradi article on Medium called Making Assumptions, they can help guide you when you have to make decisions quickly. But if you find yourself guessing or attributing motivations, you need to stop yourself. Ask for clarification and address the assumptions directly. It's also important for you to surface contradictions as you see them. Sometimes your manager may not realize that what they've said or what they're asking for today will mean that you can't actually do what they said they wanted yesterday. Present the trade offs and clarify what's most important, such as my team and I can shift to B, but that will mean that A won't be done on time. What's your preference? Sometimes you'll just have to set boundaries. I worked for an executive who believed that if I did all the work that was asked of me and that I was doing it because I had the capacity. They expected me to let them know when I was overloaded, to discuss it with them and to renegotiate and agree on new priorities. You may just need to learn to say no. I wrote a piece on saying no as it's something I've struggled with at times. As a leader who's interested in career advancement, saying no can sometimes feel dangerous. But think of it this way. If you say yes all the time and do everything that's asked of you, you'll end up exhausted, unable to make informed decisions, and ultimately unable to lead. Instead, look at redirecting your energy to evaluating and setting priorities. You don't actually have to use the word no verbatim. Rather, you can ask questions and work with your manager to reevaluate priorities. Learning to manage your boss's expectations provides an interesting benefit, which is a career boost. A concern that sometimes arises around working to clarify and negotiate expectations is that you're going to be seen as difficult or not a team player. But actually, leaders who manage upward expectations well are seen as strategic, reliable, and most importantly, promotable. Those leaders understand business priorities and deliver accordingly. Remember that a key element of managing up is the relationship that you're building with your manager and the reputation you are making for yourself as a leader. The steps that you take to think beyond your immediate role will position you to understand how your work contributes to organizational goals. Others, especially important others, will notice. Additionally, when you work to clarify and negotiate expectations, you're coming from the perspective of examining how your work fits into the whole. And this mindset is one of openness and curiosity, which encourages new ideas. So you'll then have the effect of bringing insights to your discussions, not just a willingness to execute. To summarize, managing your boss's expectations is about clarity, proactive communication, and strategic thinking. It requires understanding their perspective while maintaining your own judgment and boundaries. This skill is essential for career advancement and executive presence. Here are some next steps for you to consider in managing your boss's expectations. Schedule a conversation with your manager to clarify expectations for the coming quarter or the coming year. Document your current understanding of priorities and share it to make sure you're aligned. And consider working with a coach to develop your managing up skills. Book a discovery call to learn more. Managing up is about creating clarity, building trust, and positioning yourself as a leader who delivers results. I'm Suzanne Elnagar, helping you become the strategic leader you know that you can be.